Hey, what's up? I'm Rob Fields, the host of The Couch with Rob Fields, and we're on summer vacation. So today, on episode 2 of The Couch with Rob Fields Summer Vacation, we have a very, very, very special guest in the building. We have a 9-year NBA vet, a 12-year pro.
Correct.
We have a French national team player. We have a first-round draft pick in the building. We have a father. And we have an all-around good guy sitting on the couch with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Alexis Ajinca. Yes. So, listen, first of all, thank you. I started with this idea, I don't know, probably in March, and I started asking around, and I went to our mutual friend Max, and I said, Max, man, Craig as well, who's on episode 1. I said, man, is Alexi gonna be available? Can he pull up? The call was made, and you came through, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Well, it is a pleasure, so I appreciated you inviting me.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so, Alexi, usually when I bring people on the show, I like to hear their story. I love a good story, right?
Okay.
And the only way that we're going to put the show together, the only way that it makes sense is if we start from the beginning. Are you cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
All right, let's go. So tell me about young Alexi. Who were you as a kid?
As a kid, I was always like taller than the average kid, so
Yeah.
I always got the guys that are trying to tease me and stuff like that. So I always had to defend myself.
They was hating, bro.
Hating, yes. But back then, being different, big, I would say big problem because guys and kids did not accept that.
Yeah.
So every day was like I had to defend myself, right? And then I was also living right underneath the hood, so I was going to the school where everybody was going to.
Yeah.
So it was like challenging, and also it did not help that my dad was a police officer.
Okay.
And everybody know about it.
All right.
Did not help a lot. But I was a kid that was trying to get out of trouble.
Okay.
Because I was very influenceable.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then I just got into sports.
So let me ask you this. First of all, and I know you get annoyed by this, but are your parents? Well, people don't ask you this, but are your parents tall?
No, actually, my mom is 5'6", and my dad was 6'2".
Wow.
The mailman was 7 feet. No, I'm just playing. Nah, he just jumped a generation.
Okay.
And my dad's side, on my great ankles was like 6'8". And
got you.
everybody's from West Indies, so people was working the sugar cane and stuff like that. So strong 6'8".
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you latch on to basketball? Was basketball something that you really wanted to do? Was it something that you saw and you said, I'm going to be a basketball player? Or did you hit your head on the entry coming into the door and this basketball coach says, you ever play basketball before? Was it something like that? How did basketball come into your life?
Well, my family is not really into basketball at all.
Okay.
And so it was not something that I wanted to do.
All right.
I was into BMX, so I did like BMX and
Okay,
racing
yeah.
and stuff like that. So now my family was into that. My sister did a lot of titles, my brother as well. World Cup and stuff like that. So that's what I was in.
Yeah.
And then like a friend of the family was like, hey, you're very tall. You should try to do it. And at the time it was like 11 maybe.
Oh,
11,
so you started
12.
pretty late. All
Yeah,
right.
so they was like, you should try it. And my brother convinced me, like, the good thing of being a basketball player, you will gain on height, not just that, but you'll be able to jump bigger obstacles for BMX. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Why not? Because like that can probably compete with the pros.
Okay.
So that's how I got into basketball. And not really necessarily by my height, because I was just terrible at the beginning.
Yeah, right. So you actually hopped into the game of basketball to be a better BMX rider.
Yeah.
All
Definitely.
right. Okay. That's a fun fact for all of you people who he didn't even want to play basketball for real. He just wanted to ride bikes and do tricks, man. No.
Pretty much, but I had the love came with the
Okay.
passion in it and stuff like that. So then I was like, it was a done deal because at the
Yeah.
time I was doing BMX, mountain biking competition,
Yeah.
and then basketball, and then it became a point that I had to make a choice. So around like 13, my brother was like, "Hey, you got to make a choice on which sports you want to do."
All right.
Mind you, in BMX, I was ranked second in the world.
What?
Yeah, so I was ranked second in the world, and European I was the first one, French I was the first one, and then mountain bike I just got into the competition and I started winning everything. So it was like, hey, you got to make a decision, and I'm like, well, basketball I'm terrible at.
But how sorry to cut you. How tall were you at this time?
Well, when I was doing all the competition, I was like probably up till 11. So 11,
Okay, so all right. Yeah.
I mean at 12 I was 6'2".
Okay.
So I was still like taller than most of the kids.
Yeah, but I mean you can still ride a bike
I would
at
still be able to
6'2".
ride
Yeah.
bike and stuff like that. So I just had to make a decision, and my brother just put out a good point, which one I can live with.
Hello.
Or live off, So I was like, all right, so basketball is the one I wasn't making most money. I was like, well, there, basketball it is, and I love basketball, so it was great.
Yeah. When did you know that you had something in terms of basketball? When what was that point that you were playing and you said to yourself, I'm actually getting pretty good at this thing?
I would say when I was 15, I was in the best school in France. So there was like, it's called INSEP, and it's like
Okay.
the best athletes in every sports going there.
Yeah.
So you got track, swimming, and baseball and all
The
this stuff.
the
Everybody's there.
NCEP have is it a feeder club? So were they attached to a bigger club in the?
No,
Okay.
it's
All right.
really their own thing.
Oh. All
So
right.
when we go into a league, a basketball stuff like that, we cannot go down. Like usually
Okay,
with teams,
yeah.
when you're the last, your team go
Get in
down to different level.
relegation. Yeah.
Relegation. That we don't go anywhere. We just stay in the same level.
Okay.
So because it's a learning process, you got kids that compete against pros and
yeah,
stuff
right.
like that. So when I was like 15, and then all my teammates was like hyping me up and say, "Oh, you play like KG, or you play like Dirk," and I was like, "All right, cool." Well, then I started to project myself into an NBA. I was like, "Okay, that's what I want to do."
started here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
all
want to
right.
do. Because at first I was like, "Well, maybe I'll be a professional in France." That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
Live off of it, be able to still around my family, and stay in France.
Yeah.
And then just the hype of my teammates, and that become my brothers, and that was it. I was just like, you know what, I like that, I want to do that.
Yeah, man. And I mean, for those who don't know, France has a very rich basketball culture. All right. And you were even in the draft with Nic Batum, who is still playing in the league.
Correct.
And the French national team, which we'll get to that, you got some guys. I grew up a Spurs fan.
Right.
So, TP is my guy,
I understand that.
Yeah. But, y'all have a very rich culture. So I want to ask you, at what point did you go from Alexis Ajinca, figuring it out at 15 to now really being scouted? Like, people are looking at you and saying like, all right, we see him on a high level. At what point did that happen? Or when did you so you went pro?
I went pro at 17.
Okay. Yeah. So all right. Let's go there.
So I would say right before I went pro.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the year that I went pro. Again, my teammates talk about what's it called, NBA Draft Express or something like that.
Yeah.
And back then they were kind of like projecting the new prospect and where they're gonna be at in the draft and stuff like that. And I didn't know nothing about it because I'm not into basketball like that, so I knew nothing about it. So I was like, okay, now I started to follow that. So every time I was working and doing the games, I was looking where I was. And one time I was like 5, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be crazy. And that's where I was like, okay, it might be possible to do it. So that's when like it really clicked to become serious about the game of basketball.
Like his own.
Yeah.
Basically.
So right before I become pro, that's where I was like, okay, around probably 17, yeah.
Man, and the crazy thing is, I talk about French basketball. Like right now, you guys have a number one pick, a
Yeah,
possible number. Victor, I
man,
can't pronounce
that
his
name
last
is
name.
like it's hard for me to
Yeah, man.
pronounce too.
It's hard for you too.
Yeah, I think is
When
Wembanyama, something
I
like that.
got it written here. Wembanyama. Wim,
Wembanyama.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I got. I got my notes here. Sorry, Victor. Also, good luck. Hope you go number one. But
You will.
but I mean, I saw. Side note: I saw a picture of him standing next to Chet Holmgren.
Right.
He's like 3 inches taller than Chet.
Yeah.
Like this kid, he's like 7'3", 7'4". It's crazy.
Yeah. But then the funny thing is like he basically had the same like body type before I
Okay.
got drafted.
Okay.
And his game is very similar to mine, except that I think he's at his age he shoot better.
Yeah.
But other than that, our game was very similar,
Mhm.
except that now it's a different time.
Okay.
So for him, it fits right in, so it would be perfect.
Perfect timing.
At the time I got into the league, it's 2008. All the big men, it's Shaq, Yao Ming, Mutombo is still there.
They didn't want to see you stepping back unless you
No,
were Dirk.
they just wanted me
Yeah.
to run, rebound, and defend.
Okay.
Coach was Larry Brown, so it was old school.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Right,
it was completely different. Shooting, it was like forget about it.
Yeah.
But that's good for him. It's gonna be good.
And it's all about timing. I'm sure had you came out 2 years ago,
Right.
I mean, you win in the first round, but you probably would have been top 5. At
Yeah, I mean,
18 or whatever, because now all of the bigs, like, you have to be able to shoot the ball outside.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise,
right.
they're not. So you have to be able to shoot the ball outside and protect the rim.
yeah.
So for a guy like yourself, like, I mean, that's perfect in today's game.
I agree.
Yeah. So this is where we're going with it now, man. So we progressing through the story, right? At a certain point, it's time to go to the draft. So what is that moment? What is that feeling in your body leading up to the draft? Like, when did your workout start? Like, what's that feel like, knowing like this is gonna happen?
Man, the amount of stress that you have is unimaginable, because you kind of know you're gonna go to the NBA. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, let me stop. Okay. No. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right.
So before the draft, like, you're super stressed. Like, you're so nervous about everything. The whole process towards the draft is very stressful.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get drafted. Maybe you're gonna get drafted first round, maybe not.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna get drafted because I knew that I was so confident in myself that
Okay.
I was gonna get drafted. Now a lot of people didn't know me.
Yeah.
So my goal in the workout was to destroy all the guy that had a hype before me. So I had 14 workouts, I think, in maybe 20 days. So
14?
I just never stopped. It was like, I don't know how long, the process is, but I just never stopped. I was always in the plane and I was doing back-to-back workouts.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all my workouts was pretty much with DeAndre Jordan, Javon McGee, Roy Hibbert. I had one with Morris Pace too.
That's a lot of bump right there, man.
Oh yeah, and and like at the time they were all like bigger and stronger than me.
Okay, yeah, right.
So I would say like stronger than me because they were playing with the rest of those cats that were the same age. I was playing against 30-year-old and
Exactly, yeah.
close to 40-year-old guys, and dirty players. So
Yeah.
playing against those guys, it was just, to me, it was easier.
Yeah.
But another way is like, I had those questions like, oh, okay, so why don't you play more than what it is on the paper right there?
Right.
And I was like, the coach was like, hey, why don't you play more? I said, well, it's a question you should ask my coach.
Yeah, that's a hard question. Like, why
How
are
do
you
you-
asking me? Like,
How do you want me to answer that question? I
Yeah.
can't answer that question. And I had to tell them, say, well, I don't play against kids that are the same age as me. I play against grown-ups.
you don't play against high school players. man.
Yeah,
You
I'm
play
right.
against
I'm right
pros.
behind the pros.
Yeah.
I'm right behind the guys that signed a big contract.
Yeah.
I'm on a young contract, so of course I'm not gonna play a lot.
No.
Plus, I'm gonna make mistakes. The pros don't make mistakes like that because they've been in the circuit for a minute. So
And they don't even have the leverage to make those types of mistakes that you probably were allowed to make.
exactly. So
because
you make a
they're
mistake, you go
pros.
straight to the bench.
Yeah, they pros.
Yeah,
Like
so-
we paying you to come over here and perform. But for
Right.
you were a project, so you got to feel your way through a lot of stuff, right?
That's right. So I mean, the whole process was very nervous.
Yeah.
But the whole process being, you go put your suit on. You got to go and get find your tailor, and then once you got the tailor, that you got to get choose
man.
your suit.
Let's go there, man. Yeah,
shoes,
to the draft.
shoes and everything. The suit is free. So
Oh, they just want you to. Well, at that time, Instagram wasn't really popping. I mean,
Right.
it's there, but you can't be you weren't thinking about being an influencer back then. So,
yeah.
did you have to like publicize? Okay, my tailor is, or I went and got this suit tailored at XYZ. Did you have to do that to get the free suit, or they were just like, here?
Nah, I didn't have to do all that. The way they do it is they knew that if they give a free suit to the NBA player, when there's going to be time to get a suit, because at the time in 2008, the dress code was like everybody had to have a suit.
Strict dress
So
code.
and there was no like strict clothes.
Yeah.
Now it's different, but at the time everybody has suits. So guys have like at least 20 suits. So they knew at one point that we're gonna turn around and go back to them because we don't know nobody else.
Right. Okay.
So we're gonna go back to them.
Gotcha.
So they were like, hey, there's your free suit.
There you go.
You don't have to advertise, because at the time it was just Facebook. Instagram came a little bit later in 2008.
2008. Yep.
That's what it was. Once you choose your suit, what color you want and everything, they'll put everything together. And the day of the draft is just you put your suit on, you got interviews. I had interviews with a lot of French newspaper and stuff like that.
I bet your head was spinning.
Yeah.
Just with all of, because it's really about like just being stimulated. It's a lot of stimulation when people are pulling you from all corners to say, hey, come do this, come do that. And you feel obligated to do it because you're the new guy. You're trying to get on, so you have to do it.
Exactly. And you feel bad when you say no, so I was like, okay, I got to do all that. And, but yeah, I mean, it was stressful. Me coming from a small town in France.
What city were you born in?
Saint Etienne. So it's like 400K people that lives there.
All right.
And
Shout
then
out to the hometown.
Yeah, so then I go straight to New York, and to me it's like, damn, everything is big.
Yeah.
A lot of people are rude.
Hello.
And, because they're all busy and they're all business people. So I was like, wow, that I have to be able to function around all that, and then function to go to the draft.
Yeah, man. I watched the video when you got drafted, right?
Okay.
And you were actually in New York, like you said. How did it feel to shake hands with David Stern? Like actually walking across that stage, hearing your name. Like, was it like a relief thing?
Yeah, it was.
Did you release a little bit?
Yeah,
like,
it was.
Okay,
it was, and I was so nervous to trip on those stairs to go up. So I was like,
that guy,
do
bro.
do not trip, go up there and
they got you in the hard bottom. See, they should have let you come up there in some Air Force Ones, man. You have all that grip,
Well, I'm European again. Suits with sneakers is a no for me, So
no.
So I was like, all right, so I gotta be all fresh, and that was like my second suit I ever wear in my life. So
Really.
So I was like, wow.
I also saw Batum was sitting there, like you guys were there together. Wasn't that cool? Like someone that you saw come. Y'all came up together.
Yeah.
And then y'all sitting right by each other, like, what you think, man?
Yeah.
And then you hear your name called, you're like, all right, bro, I'm gonna see you in a little bit. Like that's crazy, man.
Well,
like,
we literally like kind of grew up together. So we were like, we've been friends since like 15.
All right.
And
was he in the academy with you?
Nah, he actually didn't make it. They didn't take him.
You kidding me?
Well, when he did a tryout, he did a tryout as a big man, and he's not a big, so right. He did a try as a big man against me and those guys.
Yeah.
And he was just too short, so they were like, well, they didn't want him.
Yeah.
So he went to his team called Le Mans, and then the head coach ended up being the national team coach. So he put him under his wing and just made him who he is now in the wing and stuff like that. So for him, might be the best play that he did to not come to the academy. But we've been friends since we've been friends since we're 15. So when we were at the draft, it's like going to draft with one of my best friends.
That's
You know,
crazy.
so it was awesome. And then he had a little situation because of his heart. Cause,
Okay, all right. I didn't even know that.
his dad passed on the court.
Seriously?
Yeah, so his dad was
a pro player, and he played in France.
Yeah, he was playing in France, and he just collapsed on the court and died on the court in front of him.
Oh, that
So,
sucks.
so yeah, that was.
I had no idea about that, man.
Yeah.
So he had something similar to his father. So he had to.
So they say it was
I mean-
an anomaly, but
All right.
technically he did all the stuff that he didn't. They were more scared of the story of his father, thinking that it's something that is
Genetic.
in DNA that is going to have the same problem.
Gotcha.
So for him to go through that and because he was supposed to be in the top 10, you know, and not getting the hype that he was getting, get drafted 25th pick. That was sad because I'm like my best friend, and he's supposed to be drafted before me, and I
Okay,
got
yeah.
drafted before him.
Yeah.
So there was just you know, that whole process. But then when he got drafted, I was hyper to see him drafted. I mean,
Man.
yeah.
Hey, listen, man. You know, being a good guy, you know, I'm not surprised that you were pumping him up. Like, come on, man, put your hat on, bro. Like, yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. So, you know, I talked a little bit about French basketball, man. I want to pivot over to the national team, right? So, you played on the French national team, which is a big, 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 you know, accomplishment. It's an honor, right? Like for me, I mean, my professional career spanned, you know, over 12 years, similar to you.
Right.
I wasn't anywhere close to playing for Team USA. You know what I mean? But, you know, for you, you got to play for your country, but also, man, you got to play alongside some real ones, you know, in terms of basketball. Tell me what's it like to get into national competition on a adult level for the first time?
I mean, it's awesome to be able to represent your country.
Yeah.
You know, they have your country name on your chest.
Yeah.
Hear the national anthem before you play and stuff like that. To
Yeah.
me, it's always been a special moment because I'm very proud to be French. You know, so I was like, to be able to be at the higher level, it was always a no-brainer for me. It was like, they asked me to come, here I come.
Yeah.
Unless I really can't come because of family problems
Of course.
or health issue, whatever, then I will be there no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just amazing to be able to be at the highest level with my friends, buddies, and stuff like that. I start, you know, in a young team because we did French national team when we were younger.
Yeah.
So with Batum, we did French national team since we were like 14, and we had titles in the young teams.
Yeah.
So then when we went with the pro teams, you know, we were like, oh, hype, but we're like, finally, you know, and then
Yeah.
we are playing along TP, Boris Diaw, DeColo, Petro, Jalaba, Petrus, and all
Yeah.
that. So, you know, we
team,
had a squad.
And you just missed the Olympic run because you were injured that year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was injured, so I ended up not being doing the Olympics. That's the only thing that I regret.
Oh, man.
But you know, I was a starting five that won the European Championship.
Yeah, I was just about
We're
to
the
ask
only
you about
one that did it. So to me, it's still dope because we're the only one that did it. I was the starting five, and
Do they have your jersey hanging up back home? You know.
no, they don't. But in the academy, they had like a banner in the streets because we got like, it's a big campus. So
Okay.
in the street they have banners, and I had one of my banners in there with the years that I was in the academy and stuff like that. So I love that.